so good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
How are you doing?
I think I'm gonna be better.
Good. I'm so glad you're here. All right, so good news. You have a chiropractic problem. I went over all your exams and your x-rays and such, and I think we're going to be able to help you, so that's fantastic.
So that's good.
Yes, you're in the right place at the right time, so that's awesome. All right, so you've never been to a chiropractor before, so we're going to go through this. It's your folder. You can take it home, read it, all that good stuff, but we are going to kind of go through it today, and just kind of explains a little bit about what we do and why, okay?
Okay.
All right, so the first part here is just some facts about chiropractic care. Especially because you've never been to one. This is a good section to look at. It kind of goes over, you know, we're not voodoo doctors. People like what we do, right? We have a 95% satisfaction rate with our patients, which is actually really high. That's awesome.
That's impressive.
We're the second largest healing profession in the Western world. So basically, people like what we do. It works, things like that. If it didn't work, it wouldn't still be around, right? So that's what this part is about. The little second blurb is on kids. And we treat a lot of kids in here, and it's just really good to start them on maintenance care as soon as possible. That's kind of why they put this in here. And they put it in there, one, for that reason, just so you can know, and two, because a lot of our problems started when we were kids, right?
Probably.
Most of us just didn't do anything about it. Like you did. You never been to a chiropractor. I was the same way. We kind of just let our problems go, and then you get to me and you hurt, and you wonder why, right?
Right.
So that brings us here to this page. Why do I feel this way? All the time people come to me and they're like, oh, I've bent over and now my back hurts. And yeah, that's probably when it started hurting, but the problem didn't start then, right? This has been going on a long time, probably since day one, when you were born, right?
Whoa.
So, right, I know, a long time. So, being born in and of itself is kind of a traumatic experience, and then you're a toddler, you're learning to walk, falling down all the time, right? Run into tables and walls, and mom and dad laugh it off, so maybe the baby won't cry, right? And then you get older, and you're in sports, and you're falling off your bike, and you're falling out of the tree or on the playground, right? We have all these bumps and bruises, and it's no big deal, and we just kind of go about our lives, and then you get older, and we have work, and we're stressed, and car accidents, and we sleep funny, and all these things, right? It's all wear and tear on your spine, and most of us, like you, haven't really done anything about it. And then you get to me, and you hurt. And you're like, I wonder why I hurt, right? So that's where that's coming from. It's a long time coming, and that's okay. We have a lot of things that kind of have wear and tear in our lives, and we do a lot of things to maintain them. One of which is like your car. You drive it every day, which puts wear and tear on your car. But hopefully you change the tires and the oil, and you put gas in it, you wash it, all these things to maintain your car for a long, long time. If we didn't do those things, your car would probably break down eventually, right?
Yeah.
Same thing as your teeth. You eat every day, which puts wear and tear on your teeth. But hopefully you brush your teeth and you go to the dentist every 6 months and all these things to maintain your teeth for a long time. You don't wait to go to the dentist when your teeth fall out, right? Hopefully you go before that.
Yeah.
So the same thing happens with our spine. We have daily wear and tear on it our entire lives, and most of us just haven't done anything about it, right? And we get to this point. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you have any questions yet?
No, I feel silly.
That's okay, that's okay. All right, so what happens when we do nothing about it, right? Yesterday we talked about joints moving too much and not enough, correct?
Yes.
Both of those problems will cause a degenerative process, which is kind of what everybody's all worried about, right? Degeneration, that's the big buzzword these days. So both of those problems, joints moving too much and not enough, can cause that problem. I'm looking for the ones that aren't moving. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. So you have your joints, and there's discs in between them, and they're kind of like sponges. They get nutrients and good things in them from compression and decompression of you moving all day. So when that joint stops moving, or a series of joints stops moving, that disc in between is kind of like a sponge, and it will dry out when it stops moving. Just like if you put a sponge on a counter and didn't use it. It would dry up a little bit, right?
Yes.
So if we let that go for a long time, years and years and years, the sponge will kind of dry up and dry up and dry up and dry up. This is the problem area, right?
Yeah.
Stenosis, arthritis, bone spurs, all that stuff nobody likes to talk about, right? It's kind of like cancer. The longer you let it go, the worse it gets, right?
Sure.
So this is the big problem. This is kind of what we're trying to prevent. So we have these stages. They're indicated over here on x-ray examples. These aren't your x-rays. We'll look at yours in a second.
Okay.
But I have kind of circled where I think you are based off of reading your x-rays. So you look at this. We have normal and mild degeneration, moderate, severe, and I kind of circled between mild and moderate based off of your x-rays. So, not the worst thing. The cool part is, even though we have some of this degeneration here, the cool part is we can prevent this red area, right? We don't want to be over in here.
No.
And that's where maintenance care comes into play, is we can symptomatically help you now, and then with wellness care, maintenance care, we can prevent you from getting worse, which is the awesome part about my job, right? Questions so far?
I don't think so.
Okay, awesome. So that's kind of problem number one. Problem number two is called a subluxation. That's a big giant word, and what it's talking about is degeneration, this process, right, happening with nerve root irritation, which more often than not, that's kind of how it occurs, just based off of anatomy. So we have our spine, and there's foraminas or holes going down both sides of the spine, all the way down. And there's nerve roots that come out of each of those holes, and those nerve roots are how your brain communicates to everything. Heart, lungs, muscles, joints, everything, right? Mm-hmm. Sending signals from the brain down your spinal cord, out these nerve roots to control things, okay? So when you start to get this problem and you get inflammation or swelling, irritation, bone spurs, maybe arthritis, things like that, it will cause irritation on these nerve roots. It causes irritation in a sense of kind of like squeezing a water hose, and the water flow would slow down, right? The nerve signals going back and forth from your brain to your heart and vice versa, or wherever, those nerve signals kind of slow down a little bit. So maybe they work at 60% instead of 100%. That causes problems, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you can see here there's lots of problems that this issue can cause. I kind of circled, underlined what you have or have had. Maybe the normal things you would associate me with, right? Headaches, neck pain, low back pain, that pain going down your leg. All of that stuff you probably would associate me as a chiropractor with. But remember that these nerve roots go everywhere, right? You told me you had acid reflux. I use that example a lot because a lot of people have it. And so they come in, people all the time have acid reflux, they're taking Tums, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we start adjusting them, and I go through and I palpate them just like I did to you, and I get kind of between their shoulder blades, and it's not moving so well, kind of like we did with you. It's a little bit stuck. And so I'm like, oh, that's stuck. We're going to start adjusting it, make it move, right? So what happens is you have a valve that keeps the stomach acid out of your esophagus, and the brain tells it when to open and close via a nerve. Well, that nerve just so happens to originate from your thoracic spine between your shoulder blades. And almost everybody in America has problems there, right? And so just like you, I go and palpate, and there's that problem. We start adjusting it, right? Start adjusting it,